Welcome to another one of my collection videos. In this one I go in depth with one of the best consoles ever made, the Dreamcast. Now I know many of you agree with me that it was a really shame that it died before it should have, but at least it left behind a great trail of games behind it. Many of them were originally from Sega's strongest area, that's arcades, and then ported over to Dreamcast. But naturally there were a lot of exclusive games made just for the Dreamcast, and one of the finest examples of this are Sonic Adventure, a launch game which really portrayed the power of the Dreamcast. A great looking game, but you know, these Sonic Adventure 1 and 2, they aren't really as good as the 2D games 1, 2 and 3, but great games, great games all together. Then Soulcalibur, really a thing of beauty to look at even to this day. This fighting game, when PlayStation owners played Tekken, then for Dreamcast came Soulcalibur from the makers of Tekken, and it was really a bright day for the Dreamcast owners. This fighting game is one of its finest hours. House of the Dead 2, my favorite light gun game, for which Sega in Japan and Europe issued a really nice white light gun, the official light gun, and I really like this because it has so many multiple routes. There's a ton of replay value, and it really defines zombies in light gun games with their green blood, and you can shoot holes in their heads and stomach and stuff like that, so great fun. But then there's Typing of the Dead. It's graphically basically almost the same as House of the Dead 2, except that instead of shooting zombies they have words on top of their heads which you have to type with the keyboard, and when you finish the word the zombie gets shot. It's really a bizarre take, originate from the arcades again, but it's really quite good fun, especially with 2 players and 2 keyboards. Jet Set Radio really made popular the cel shading graphical technique, amazing to look at. This is really competent as a extreme sports game with the skating and the grinding, but it really is a fantastic adventure exploration game where you have to take a look at every nook and cranny of the city to find places to place your graffiti in. Skies of Arcadia, one of my favorite RPG games. There really is some strange spirit to it, which I just can't put my finger on. I just love it. And this actually has one of the best pieces of video game music as its title screen. Check it out on YouTube. Res, again one of the finest moments for the Dreamcast. Well, if you haven't played Res, I can't explain it to you. It really is in a league of its own, visually and musically. This was released on Japan and Europe. This was one of the few games that Europeans got, what the people in America didn't, so we have to be proud of this. Resident Evil Code Veronica, a really nice touch for the Dreamcast for get their own Resident Evil games, even if this was later reported to PS2 and the GameCube. A great game. Phantasy Star Online. I really can't stress enough or too much what this means to modern online games, and this started it all practically. I really played this to death on the GameCube. I haven't played this online on Dreamcast, which I think you still can on fan servers, but a true classic. Check it out, check out what the hype is about, even if it might be a little dated today. Planet Ring is still sealed. This is an amusement park game which you can play only online, so it can stay sealed as far as I'm concerned. Chuchu Rocket, a highly addictive puzzler. This cost next to nothing on eBay, so get this. I beg of you. Crazy Taxi 2, ported from the arcades, and for this Sega made a rally controller, steering wheel, and Sega also made the keyboard and mouse and arcade stick, and they had really a great lineup of peripherals to make that arcade feel perfect. Crazy Taxi, a great game. So is Sega Rally 2, and one of the best rally games there is, and people still play it on the arcades here in Finland. F355 Challenge, Passion Rosa, a nice driving simulator, well, best played in its 3-screen arcade mode, but a nice game on the Dreamcast as well. Virtua Fighter 3. This is a bit dated. This wasn't originally on the Sega Naomi arcade platform, which is basically the same as the Dreamcast. This was on Model 3 arcade board, but a really competent fighter, really solid, even today. Now, Seaman is one of those off-the-wall game projects. Well, you basically have a terrarium where you put some seaman eggs in it, and after a while, when you tend the water temperature and stuff like that, it gets hatched into this fish, and later it evolves into a frog, and you can talk to it. There's a microphone here. It's a one of a kind game project, and a really nice game. If you survive, if the egg survives long enough. I had my egg killed because I had to go to work every day and didn't want to start the game. The game goes on in real time, and I didn't want to tend the egg many times a day, so it died, sadly. This is actually my only pirated game I have in my collection, Half-Life. Now, this was never released for the Dreamcast. This is a full game burned on a CD, and it works on a normal console, but it was never released in stores, which is really sad, because this is a perfectly working game. I never knew why they didn't release it. Then Shenmue 1 and 2. One of the best reasons to own Dreamcast is Shenmue 1. You can have it on any other console. 2 was ported to Xbox, but 1 is, well, it was larger than life then, and it's pretty darn good even today. I won't spoil it anymore for you. You just have to play it for yourself. Now, for the Dreamcast was a really nice lineup for shooting games as well. Here we have Shikigami no Shiro, Radilchi, Trizeal, Karos, Triggerheart Exelica, Under Defeat. Now, these DVD boxed games were released after the Dreamcast died. It had games released for it for quite some time. Now it's over, but really tons and tons of good shoot-em-ups. Check them out. And many of them had limited editions with soundtracks and stuff like that. Also, the DVD cases mostly contain soundtracks as well. Nice game packages. Finally, I have here a bit of Sega history. The game is called Sega Gaga, and this is the limited edition of it. You have here a t-shirt, a book, planner book. The game itself, which is a Sega simulator. You control Sega through tough times in the console games industry. It's a, as I know it's only in Japanese, I haven't played it, but as far as I hear, it's a funny game, it's a bit of a sad game, but altogether brilliant. Also included here are some really nice, in a wooden box, some really nice pin badges of all the Sega consoles. Now this is really a piece of Sega history, where well the whole of Dreamcast is. It's a really shame it didn't survive longer, but as you can see, there are tons and tons of good games for it, and you really should get them now while you still can. Thanks for listening.